Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video we'll be using an Alola only team in the RU tier. Let's get into it. On the first turn, Slobo was able to outspeed with the quick draw and hit with a shell side arm. Incineroar tanks it and starts bulking up right in front of his face. On the next turn he goes into his Grafai. I go for the Darkest Lariat, take him out in one shot. I actually really enjoyed using this Incineroar set. It's Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Flare Blitz, and Darkest Lariat. He then goes into the Hitmonlee, expecting him to outspeed and go for the Fighting Move. I go into the Mimikyu, he goes for the Terra Fighting Close Combat, which does nothing. Next turn I'm able to outspeed, go for the Play Rough, take him out in one shot. He then goes back into the Slowbro. He's able to outspeed again with the Quick Draw, goes for the Shell Sidearm, breaks my Disguise, and unfortunately gets the Poison. After all that, Mimikyu doesn't mind, goes for the Swords Dance, gets a boost. On the next turn I reveal the Power Herb, go for the Phantom Force, take out Slowbro in one shot. My opponent's next Pokemon is in the Indeedee. He gets the Psychic Surge up, he's able to outspeed, go for the Dazzling Gleam, but Mimikyu hangs on. I go for the Play Rough, take him out in one shot. Next up is the Armor Rouge. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Phantom Force as he misses the Expanding Force, take a little bit of damage from the Poison. On the next turn I connect with the Phantom Force, knock him all the way down to his Sash. This activates the Weak Armor. He's then able to go for the Dark Pulse, take out my Mimikyu. I then go into my Incineroar, get the Intimidate rolling. He goes for the Destiny Bond. I go for the Darkest Lariat, take him out, but unfortunately Incineroar goes with him. My opponent's last Pokemon is in the Sceptile. I then go into my Gumshoes. He gets a special defense boost. I go for the Terra Normal. He goes for the Leech Seed, go for the Double Edge, take him out in one shot. Good game. Alrighty, let's get into game number 2. He starts off with the Conkeldurr. I go into my Decidueye. I go for the Brave Bird on the first turn, do some good damage, take a lot of recoil. He goes for the Knockoff, takes out my Decidueye. My next Pokemon is in Necrozma. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Photon Geyser, take out the Conkeldurr. My opponent then brings out the immovable wall, the Quagsire. I go for the Photon Geyser again, do some great damage, but he's able to hang on. He goes for the Toxic and gives me that bad poison. I start taking some damage. He then switches into the Cresselia. I fire off another Photon Geyser, which he tanks with no issue. Unfortunately, my Necrozma is completely walled by the Cresselia, so then I switch out to the Incineroar, get the Intimidate going. He goes for the Moonblast, does barely anything. I figure Cresselia can't do too much because I'm about to start setting up. He goes into the Quagsire. I go for the Bulk Up and get those boosts. I'm then able to outspeed, go for the Darkest Lariat, take out the Quagsire. Incineroar is a beast in both VGC and singles. He then goes into the Lycanroc Dust. I go for the Terra Fighting, he goes for the Stone Edge. I'm able to tank that even with the crit. Go for the Drain Punch, take him out in one shot, and get some good health back. He then goes back into the Cresselia. He immediately goes for the Terra Fairy, goes for the Psychic. Incineroar is able to tank that. I go for the Darkest Lariat, even with the crit, do barely any damage. He fires off another Psychic. Incineroar just hangs on. I go for the Flare Blitz, do some good damage on the way out. I then switch into my Lycanroc Dusk, go for the Stone Edge, able to clean up the Cresselia. My opponent's next Pokemon is in the Gengar. I'm able to outspeed with the Accelerock, unfortunately get that Curse Body going. He then goes for the Shadow Ball, Lycanroc just hangs on. I'm then able to outspeed again, go for the Stone Edge, take out the Gengar, but unfortunately go down to my Life Orb. My opponent then forfeits. Good game. Alrighty, and that's the video. Please let me know what you guys think down below and stay tuned for future content. Peace.